Okay.
Stevenson Michael's podcast.
Okay.
Stevenson Michael's podcast. This is Stevenson Michael. You know who this is. Hey y'all. This is Stevenson Michael's podcast, and this is my 7th episode of my podcast, and look where I am. I'm at my job for City Works, and I'm at the Lyceum on Lawrence Street in Hartford, and it's across the street from 5x4 is where I work at, which I'm the catering staff over there in the kitchen lab. So today I just decided to record my episode here at for City Works at the Lyceum. So I'm happy that I was able to do this, and this is the first time that I'm recording an episode outside of home. So I'm so excited, and right now I'm at office at the Lyceum, and before you guys start asking questions, what is this? It's a yoga that I'm eating from University of Hartford that I made, which that my second job that I work at, and speak of second jobs and University of Hartford, that's what I want to talk about. This yoga is very good. Sorry. But that's what I want to talk about. This episode is called Job Switching. And the reason why the title of the episode is Job Switching is because remember last week that I was mentioning that I was not having the greatest week last week because ups and downs and stuff that I was having. Well, I'm gonna get to that right now. Why I was having not having my bestest week at times. I'm not saying my whole entire week was bad last week, but I'm just saying like at times that it was. And that's why it's been an up and down week. I had some great moments, but then I have some bad moments. And I'm just here to explain it on this episode. And this is why I wanted to, do the J. Cole and Don Toliver debate for my 8th episode instead of this episode right now, my 7th, is because I really want to talk about this subject, and it's very important. And I just think that I just want to share it, not just take shots at anybody or things like that, but I just want to share my personal thoughts and my personal opinion on things that wish it shouldn't happen, but it it did anyway. So that's why the name of this episode is Job Switching. And yeah, I'm gonna get into it right now. The reason why it's job switching is because, okay, on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, which is last week, where I was saying, I remember when I was done with my shift, at GSU, University of Hartford. I was talking to Amarilis, to ask her about the food truck that, they were talking about earlier that morning. And I remember I was coming in I didn't come in late, but I'm like, like lately I'm always coming in like 10:50 or 10:55 or even 7:45 ish. Um, still came in a little bit early, but not like early enough. But when I came in at around 10:50 on that day, in that morning, I heard something about, there's a sign up sheet, to do the food truck, work in the food truck, or work, you know, prep, clean, and things like that. I forgot the name of the other position is, but I know for the food truck one, that's what I was mostly interested in at one point. But yeah, that's what I was talking up to. That's what I was talking about. Like asking a question and stuff like that. When me and Emma Willis was talking about it, and I was just asking her like um what do you guys do? What is gonna look like? Um what are you guys going to do? And what's the schedule? What's the plan? um when the training is going to start, and things like that. And she answered my questions that I was asking her. And when I did, that's when she mentioned that you know she doesn't even know that if I'm gonna be back next semester, at GSU, because towards middle of August, they get see if the people who are in the 100s, if their jobs are at risk or not. And I want to talk more about that. I just want to share my opinion about that. And the reason why I was not really having my bestest week, because of that conversation that I had with Emma Willis. And I'm not saying that I was mad at her or anything. I wasn't. She was just telling me what was going on, and what's going to happen if it does happen. And yeah, I just want to share what my opinion, and what my my feelings about this. The reason how I feel about this job risk thing, I just think it's unnecessary at this point. Because like, the reason why I say that, because like, if someone like me, for example, like, loves their position and loves the job where they at and stuff, but don't want to leave. Never say anything about leaving that job, leaving any, leave, your position and stuff. But if that person, try to takes your job, right? The job that you love, and your job is at risk, and then you have no choice to work somewhere else around campus, even if it's in Commons, Starbucks, Hawks Nest, even what's that place? Uh, Conover, if I'm saying that correctly, or other places that they have, around campus. But if that person like me, for example, doesn't want to work anywhere else and want to stay at your position and stuff, why and my why my job is at risk. What? Because if that person wants my position and my job, like I just feel like, at least for my opinion, doesn't really make any sense, because like if that person didn't say that, wants to leave and, wants to switch positions, so why is that person trying to take someone's position, especially the position that person really wants to, be in and wants to work at, long as they can, right? Because I just feel like it's unfair for a person who has been working in that position for more than 1 year, but then for other person to try to take it from you. Especially you haven't seen anything about, wanting to switch position, wanting to leave. For me personally, I never want to leave. I never say anything about me wanting to leave. And I understand, what Amarilis is saying, that, I didn't say that. She knows that. But like if that person is trying to take someone's job just because, oh, they want to work at that job, or if or they need more hours and they're trying to make more money and this and that. But like, for my opinion, that's that's not really my issue though. Like, I just feel like, people trying to, take other people's jobs is just like so unfair. And I just feel like, all through that week I just been thinking about that, it's been in my head, because like I don't want to leave these guys. I don't want to leave Emma Willis, Donette, Alene, PK, and other great workers and student workers that I've been working with very, very well since I got into GSU last year, 2025. The start of 2025, and I just feel like, for my opinion, like it's just unfair, and I was just like, having these feelings, and having these, oh, okay, oh, is this day gonna be my last day here, or this and that, and I didn't want to think about that, because I didn't I was trying not to worry too much. It's just sometimes when I think like that, it just gets in my head for a while, and it takes a while, to forget it. And and I'm just letting you guys know that I'm fine now, but I'm just saying, like, during that week, ever since that talk that I had, with Emma Willis about this situation, it got me worried. It got me worried. I hope my job doesn't get at risk. I hope someone doesn't, try and take my position in my job. Cause I mean, as for right now, I don't want to work anywhere else. I want to stay long as I can, at GSU, because they like family to me, and they welcome me, into to their arms. They welcome me into their arms, and they like family to me, and I built a lot of great relationships, all the great UN workers, and the student workers, and I just don't want that to end just because that person is trying to, take my spot, and in my position. And I just feel like, for my opinion, it's unfair, because like, especially for me, that I'm a hard worker. I work hard with everything I do. You know what I mean? And if I work hard on something, I should be rewarded for, that hard work. And I think they know that. It's just, I guess that's how this goes and stuff. And Alene was telling me about that too, last year, when I was going through the same situation. Because when I first gone through it, my job was not at risk, and I was just like, sign of relief because like I don't want to work anywhere else but JSU. I never say anything about me wanting to leave, wanting to, work at a different job, in the same campus. And, you know, I love working with Alene. I love working with Alene and, other workers, that I've been working with since I, got there. And yeah, sure. Can me and Lean sometimes have disagreements and not see eye to eye sometimes, but that's I mean that's what happens sometimes when you work at a job like that, you know what I mean? But even though we have, some issues, not in a bad way, but like has some issues, I still love working with her. I learned a lot of things from her, and I always take that with me and translate to my other job, which where I'm at right now, for City Works, to get even better, when I'm here because of Aline telling me this and that, and that I never learned of before. So I that's why I'm so appreciated, of Aline, of just showing me things that I've never done before and showing me things that I never heard of, and and just always telling me you know what to do, what to do this, to do that, and just helping me get better, as a worker, and then it will help me be even a better worker when I'm at my other job, 5x4s. You know what I mean? Because I'm one of the catering staffs here at 5x4s, and and sometimes I work at catering events or work at events, at the Lyceum, which I'm here right now, for City Works, and it she just helps me, continue to get better, as a worker, and then just overall, like outside of work, she's just, a great friend, and a great person, to hang out with, and I just appreciate so much from her, and she knows how much I appreciate her, and appreciate her like always, being there for me, always helping me out if I need it. And then she's always helping me out with unemployment stuff, when I'm doing the unemployments. Like when I'm not working at University of Hartford, always helping me with unemployments, when I need, when needed. And then, if there's a question, she's always, answering my question, always helping me like understanding, um, you know, understanding, what the question is like asking me and things like that. If I have a question that and I was wondering, she was always asking me, always answering my question and help me understand, what I was really asking her, and just always helping me out with everything, man. She's just really an amazing person to work with, and to hang out with, overall, and she's just so damn funny, always, dramatic, and just, always have that swag in her, and just, just being a lean, just being her. And and I just remember, my first day, um, she was just excited, to work with me, for the first time, because she just, excited, to see, what I could do, what, my experience of things, especially, working at other places in the past before I, came back to campus, working at University of Hartford again, but this time working at GSU for the first time ever, because before that I was working at Commons, my first 2 years there, with Terry, was my manager at the time, at Commons. So like, and then my third day working at GSU, with Alene and stuff, and I remember the very first thing that she asked me, because she was starting to get to know me, who I am as a person, and that's normal because especially if you're working with that person or meeting that person for the first time, of course you get like asked questions, like who you are, who are you from, and I mean where are you from, and other questions, you know you expect, from a person, asking you. But I remember a funny thing that, when she asked me, because it was her and Sarah was asking me this question. And like Sarah was like so scared of me to like ask me a question. So Aline did it for her. And the reason why she was so scared because like she didn't want to, like she didn't want me to be offensive of people, I mean of her asking me this question. So Aline asked did it for Sarah, asking the question that she wanted to ask me. And I remember like Aline was asking me, oh, are you autistic? And I was just like, yes, I am. I immediately said yes, I am. And then Sarah was like, oh, I was like, oh, I thought so, because and the reason why both of them asked me that, because the way I always, walk back and forth, and then, talking to myself, and, just doing weird things that people don't normally do when they're not autistic. And, they thought it was pretty cool that, I was autistic, and then, for me to be in this situation, where I'm at right now, a year and a half later. And, they just thought it was pretty cool. And Aline said the same thing that Sarah told me. Like she didn't wanted to feel like that was offensive, of her asking me that question. But I told both of them from their faces that you can ask me like any types of question, you like I'm not gonna be offended about you asking me that question, you know what I mean? So I just told him that like I didn't feel offended. Um, I answered the question, and I was like, yeah, I'm autistic. I have autism. And I've been on diagnosed with autism since I was 3. So yeah, I'm autistic, and that's why I told them on my third day working, at GSU, to start off my journey, here, at GSU. And I remember that was like one of the funniest moments that Aline asked, and then Sarah too, and that was definitely one of the funniest moments. But also at the same time, like just one of those questions that like, you know, it was scared of them to ask, but they asked me anyways, and they feel really proud to ask me that, and I just told them, man, like I wasn't offended. I'm happy that they asked me that question because not a lot of people know that I'm autistic, and that's okay if they don't. But if they ask me, and I told them that I am, they're even more happy about it because it's good that like the autistic person like me that is able to work at big companies like Airmark, University of Hartford, to be in this moment where I'm at right now, a year and a half later. So yeah, it was just one of the funniest moments, but also a great moment at the same time because ever since they asked me that question, our relationship, me and Aline, kept getting better and better, a year goes on, and I really appreciate that, and that's why I just hope for this year my job doesn't, get at risk, because I really don't want to leave Alene and my workers. You know what I mean? And I love working with these people, and I don't want to work anywhere else just because that person is trying to take my position and my job. Like, and the job that I really work to get and, work my ass off. You feel me? So I just feel like it doesn't make any sense for a person to try and take that person's job, especially a person like me is really good at it. How do you know if that person is gonna be good at the position? You just never know. Like you just don't want to take that risk. You know what I mean? And I and to the people who did their jobs got at risk last year, I feel bad because like they were probably feeling the same thing like I was feeling, most of that week, just feeling sad and just didn't want to leave because like especially for them not saying anything about them wanting to leave and wanting to work somewhere else and that definitely bothered me to see them go the jobs that they were at before, but just I guess that's how it goes, man. Like every not every semester, but like every summer, I can say it like that. Like every August, I go to this situation, and then Amarilis was talking about, oh, at least you could pick other jobs, and if my job is at risk. I didn't say this to her face, but in my head I was like, no, no. Like I keep saying to myself, no, I don't want to work anywhere else. Like I want to stay here, you know, with Emma Willis and everybody, because I just built so much, great relationship here, and it's like, why would I work at Carmen's and anywhere else if I'm happy when I'm mad? Like it doesn't make any sense. You feel me? So I just like no man. Like I don't care if I have an opportunity to pick, like other job or take someone's job. I don't want to take someone's, job and position either. I don't want to be the bad guy. You feel me? Like I don't want to be the bad guy, take someone's position. Like and then if I do that, right? And then if that person finds out that it was me who took his position, then obviously that person's not gonna be happy with that. So like that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I was having this feeling. Excuse me. It's because I don't want to leave GSU. I want to try work there as long as I can. Like if I want to work somewhere else, okay, great. But I don't want to work anywhere else right now. That's my thing, and I don't. That's just not like my mindset right now. And I love the people there, and I love to see every student, especially the students that I know of very well, and and I love working with everybody. I love working with Alene. She's like my best co-worker, my best partner, my work partner that I ever had ever. Okay, yes, I said it. I said it. Alene is my best work partner that I ever had in my life, and that's the honest truth. Okay, like that's the honest truth. And if Alene watches this one day, and I'm sure that she's never gonna watch any of my episodes of my podcast, but just in case, if she watched this episode, right? Excuse me. Need some water, shit. Sorry. She will be appreciated. she will be appreciated, what I'm really saying right now. And she knows how much I love working with her. And I just don't want me and Alene's duo of us working, together to end. I definitely don't want that to end. And I just hope my job doesn't get at risk. I don't want my job to be at risk, and I don't want someone to try and take my job and my position, the position that I work really hard at, and like every single day when I work there, and I just, yeah, I just want to be able to work there, and and work at GSU, as long as I can, and and I just hope it doesn't end this year. I really hope not. And even Amarilis said it. Even she doesn't want me to go anywhere else. Like she wants me, she's hoping that I will stay too. Hope that my job doesn't be at risk too, because she loves when I'm here, and she loves when I'm, around here. Like putting a smile on my face. Just always, being happy, and just enjoying and work. And then she even said herself, Emma Willis. Like she even said herself, um, I'm one of the people that is like more responsible, where I work, my station and stuff. So like that's what I'm saying, man. Like I just don't want any of that to end. And I'm really trying my best to, like not think about it, and not thinking, oh, this will be my last day working here, or like is this going to be my last, this and that, and but right now I'm fine. I'm feeling fine, but it's just like overall, especially during that week that I was just going through a lot, mentally, of that, ever since the conversation I had, with Emma Willis, about, jobs at risk and this and that. And, she hopes that, she keeps all of her staffs, like me, for example, not hope that, to not go anywhere else, around campus. And I really don't want to go anywhere else. I want to stay here where I started, and I want to stay here, when I finish. And I just feel like, there's a lot that I could do to, to make this even better. And I just want to be able to show them that, and and show them that I continue, to do a great job, what I've been doing right now in my position, as a grill helper. And I feel like they know that, and I just, I want to continue, to get better at it, and get better at the things that I never done before. And I just wanted, just to continue to get better, later in the future, and so I could know, what to do if I'm like applying for other jobs, or if I'm doing some of this, when I'm at home or somebody's house or whatever. And it's just so much that I could do, and I just want to be able to, continue to do what I've been doing, at GSU. It's my home. It's one of my homes, where I work, and I want to continue to be at my home. And I hope I don't have to work anywhere else after this semester. And I'm just like praying that it doesn't, end after this semester. And I'm just hoping that this doesn't end. And that's why I was having an up and down week, because of this topic, and the situation that I've been going through. It's really tough. It's really tough, and I bet you everyone is thinking the same thing. I bet you $20 right now, everybody is thinking the same thing. Why I've been thinking, oh man, is this going to be it? Like, is my job gonna be at risk and this and that? Like, I don't. I just hope that people will understand that, like, if someone like me, for example, really loves their job and really loves their position, but then somebody try and takes your job and your position, the position that you love. Like, I'm sorry, but like for me personally, like that's upsetting. Like, of course you gotta be upset. Of course you gotta be sad and disappointed and just all the emotions that you can feel about someone taking your job, especially a job you work for, work to get, you know what I mean. And I don't want to leave Amarilis. Like, she's, at least from my opinion, she's one of the greatest managers to work with. And of course Tony, the one who replaced Kate as director. I just think, from my opinion, he's been doing a great job since he's filled in that position. And he's just an amazing dude, guys. Like, he is an amazing dude. Like, he's just a great guy to hang out with, but also a great guy to learn from. And always telling me things, and and then he's always trying to be funny too, like trying to be sneaky with people, in a funny way. Like, it's like, Tony, like, what are you doing? But like, he's just a cool guy, man. And I'm glad he's a part of our family. And I just hope I continue to be the part of this family and be a part of the GSU's family. I don't want to work anywhere else right now. At least for right now, I don't want to work anywhere else. I don't want to go back to Carmen's, where I worked at before, when I only worked 3 hours straight and only worked on Tuesdays. Literally, all I was doing at Carmen's was clean tables for 3 hours straight. Like, do you really think I want to go back there again? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I love Carmen's overall, but it's just the job itself of what I was doing at the time with my friend Chris. All we was doing was just clean tables for 3 straight hours straight. And the only time we got a break, it was after our shift. So like, that's what I'm saying. Like, do I really want to go back to that position again because of someone trying to take my job and my position? Like, let's be real here. Like, let's be real. So that's why I'm having this conversation, and that's why it's very important topic that I'm having this conversation, because if it was you that someone's trying to take your position, how would you feel? How would you feel? Exactly. So, but if you guys want to answer that question, hit the like and subscribe button, and send the comments under this video. How would you feel if someone tried to take your job in your position? You want to be happy, right? Exactly. So that's just how I was feeling. And I hope you guys understand, what I was really saying. That's why the name of this episode is Job Switching, because I don't want to switch jobs. I don't want to go anywhere else but GSU. And I hope I'm able to stay here at GSU in the near future. I hope no one will take my job, and I hope I don't have to make this episode again, having this topic again. I hope I don't have to make another episode about this topic, and I hope this will be the one and final time. But we'll see what happens, because who knows how long I'm gonna be doing this podcast. But we'll see, and we'll see what happens. In August when I'm in this situation again. So we'll see. But right now I'm just gonna stay positive, being happy, put a smile on my face, and being who I am as a person. And just keep living my life, man. Just keep living an amazing life, where I'm at right now. And and just continue to be blessed. And that's all I gotta say. Again, this is Stevenson Michael's podcast, seventh episode of my podcast, and I hope you guys like this episode. And if you guys have any questions, you guys can always send a comment. And then if you guys haven't subscribed my YouTube channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I will see you guys on my 8th episode, when I'm finally get to, make an episode of J. Cole versus Don Toliver debate. Be out for the lookout for that, and I will see you guys next time.